Assalamualaikum, a very good day everyone. This will be a real quick on chapter 3, social context and social emotional development. Okay, this slide is again not by me but by my lecturer, Dr. Rosilawati Sueb. Okay. Okay, we have contemporary theories based on Brenner's ecological and Erickson's lifespan development theory, or Erickson psychosocial development theory. Okay, first we are going to Brenner's ecological theory. What is meant by ecological? Ecological means the social context, your surroundings, in which people live and the people who influence our development. Okay, as you can see here in the slide, okay, we have, okay, in the middle there we have the individual, sex, age, health, and etc. That means ourself. Okay, and then we start to have microsystem. So microsystem is the people who we interact with directly. For example, a family, friends, peers, school, church group, maybe religion, neighborhood, play area, the people that we interact with directly or daily in daily life. Okay, and then after microsystem, we go to larger Brenner's theory. This area of mesosystem. So mesosystem is uh, mesosystem is we for example, parents teachers association, where these two parties they can influence us in a manner. Other example will be that our parents and our friends, for example, our parents dislike our friends, and how does that influence us? So that is mesosystem. Okay, how about exosystem? Exosystem is ecosystem is based on cultural context. Okay, for example, you can see that Chinese in Kelantan, they can speak Kelantanese dialect because their culture, their social context that influence their daily life. Okay, so that is ecosystem. Another example of ecosystem is the Malaysian, the Malaysian language. We have some sentences where we can add Chinese word. We can add Indian Tamil word like they macha, come here lah, go and tapau somewhere. So that is our ecosystem, because we start to relate with our cultural context. So that is ecosystem. Okay, and then we have macro system, attitudes and ideologies of the culture. Okay, so it's somehow it relates to the exosystem. And then we have chronosystem. Chronosystem is the patterning of environmental events and transitions over the life course and socio historical conditions. Okay, for example, our life, past life, and our past life and our now life context. Okay, so Bruffin Brothers, we have this layer of ecological theory. We have microsystem, mesosystem, exosystem, and macrosystem. Okay. So what are the implications of Bruffin Brothers theory in the classroom? Okay, so teachers, students, we think about children embedded in several environmental systems and influences, and attend to connections between school and families. And we recognize the importance of community, culture, and socio-economic status. Okay, we're done with Bronfenbrenner theory. Next, we are going to theory of Erik Erikson. Okay, this one I have learned in literature for young adult. Okay, so stages of psychosocial development. What is psychosocial? The way how we think, our psychological psychological process, and also how do we act act and think according to our social context. Okay. So in the first stage, we have infant, we have toddler, we have preschooler, grade schooler, teenager, young adult, middle-aged adult, older adult. So when we were infant, we have this trust versus mistrust. For an important event is that feeding. Okay, so children develop a sense of trust when caregivers give care and affection. So when the children lack care from their caregivers or their parents, it will lead to mistrust. So, for example, parents who are busy working, they will leave their children with the maid. So, 24/7, they are with the maid. So, they will trust the maid more than they trust their parents. Okay. And then we move on to the early childhood, 2 to 3 years old, autonomy versus shame and doubt. For example, toilet training. So autonomy means that they develop a personal control over themselves. They will do things on their own by their own will. So, for an example, is toilet training. Okay, and also they will develop a sense of independence. But if they fail to develop this independence, develop this autonomy, it is it will result in feelings of shame and doubt because they cannot do the things on their own. Okay, and then we have preschool. Okay, preschool is 3 to 5 years old. Initiative versus guilt, exploration. So this is the time when our age 3 to 5 years old we start to explore things. We need to begin asserting control and power over the environment. If we succeeded in this stage, it will lead to a sense of purpose. So we will build our own initiative to do things. Okay, children who try to exert too much power experience disapproval, resulting in a sense of guilt. Okay, and then school age 6 to 11 years old, industry versus inferiority. Okay, this is during the school time. So children need to cope with new social environment and academic environment. So success leads to a sense of competence, while failure results in feelings of inferiority. Okay, during this age, our peers do influence us because peers will assist us in order to gain our self-esteem. So if we have gained our self-esteem, we will become someone who is industrious. But if we don't have we have peer pressure, we have low self-esteem, we don't cope with our new environment at the school anymore, so we will feel inferior. That is why inferiority. Okay, and then we have adolescents, 12 to 18 years old. Okay, identity versus role confusion. Okay, during this age we start to have social relationships, so we will develop a sense of self and personal identity. Success leads to an ability to another ability to stay true to ourselves. So this is when we start to look for what do we want to know, what do we actually want to know about our own identity. Okay, so this is when we start to go for science streams, art streams. Someone go like for me, I'm going for language. So that is my identity. So for adolescents, okay, identity, right? Okay. Teens will develop a sense of self. So we start to have social relationships, and then we start to gain our identity, to know our identity. Like for example, you associate yourself with friends who are good in mathematics, and then you are fond of your mathematics teacher. Then you decided that you wanted to become a math teacher. So that's why you're going for math education, environment. This environment, you go for the environment. So then you gain your identity. But how about role confusion? Okay, during your SPM years, you can, maybe some of your friends or even you are confused with what are you going to take after SPM. So you want to excel, do you want to excel in science stream or art, or you want to go for PJ? So if you are failed to do so, you will gain role confusion. Okay, so this is the important event, that is a social relationship. Next, we move on to young adulthood. Okay, young adulthood. Uh, Intimacy versus isolation, 19 to 40 years old. Okay, during this time we tend to have more than more than social relationships. We will have relationships that involve emotion, intimate. We will form intimate loving relationships with other people. So if we have succeeded in gaining relationships, trust in our relationship, we will bond, we will uh, have a strong bonded relationship, while failure will result in isolation, in loneliness. Okay, those who are good with their friends, those who have a good relationship with maybe your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you will feel the intimacy. But how about if you don't feel the need? You don't feel the need of love. You don't feel you feel isolated. So then you will be in isolation. Okay. Next, middle adulthood, generativity versus stagnation. Okay. Important event during this 40 to 65 years age in middle adulthood is that um, you start to work, you start to meddle in parenthood. So adults need to create or nurture things that will outlast them, often by having children or creating a positive change that benefits other people. So if you have a good work, if you have a good family, you have a good parenting style, you have children, you create a positive change in your life during this middle adulthood stage, you will be uh, you will be in generativity. But how about stagnation? Stagnation is when you feel like your career is a failure, your career is not what you wanted, and then uh, you don't have your soulmate. You don't be your soulmate. You don't have any kids or so on. Then you will feel stagnant. You will feel stagnant because you don't have your dream job, for example. Okay, and then maturity, 65 to death. Ego integrity versus despair. So this is an important event that to for you to reflect on life. So older adults, they need to look back on their life if they have fulfilled all their needs, if they feel a sense of fulfillment. So if they feel that they have succeeded at this stage, it will lead to feelings of wisdom. And if they fail to do so, they will feel regret, bitterness, and despair. Despair means sad. They will feel like all my life I don't have a good house, I didn't live a dream job, I don't have family, I don't have kids, I don't have soulmates, and so on, and that it will bring to despair. Okay, next.